Hello everyone, in this video I will be showing you how to make this new trending beautiful headband. This headband has three parts: the part with the velcro, the double stuffed or padded part, then the design part. Since I'll be using Asooke for this headband, so I've already cut out 30 inches Asooke. So next, I'll measure and cut out 3.5 inches. Cut it out. Okay, after cutting it out, I'll come to the edge here. I'll measure out 1 inch. And I'll fold it. I'll fold it in and secure with pin. From the back. I'll repeat the same thing here. I'll come here and I'll be folding in 1/4 inch here and 1/4 inch on this side. Then I'll fold in half. You can see what I did. Then fold in half and I'll take to my sewing machine and I'll sew aside. Okay, this is it after sewing it. Okay, next I'll measure out 4 inches on my velcro or magic gum. 4 inches, and I'll cut it out. So the hash part, I'll be putting the hash part here. Then the soft part, I'll be placing it here. Okay, so next I'll take to my sewing machine and I'll sew. And I'll sew this. Okay, this is it after sewing it. You can see. Next is to make the stuffed part or the padded part. Okay, to determine my measurement, I'll fold in 1/4 inch and I'll start rolling it. Okay, till I reach the thickness that I want. It depends on how big you want yours to be. I don't want mine to be too big. When I get to how thick I want mine to be, I'll mark there with chalk. Okay, so this is it. So I have about 6 inches. So I'll be using 6 inches by 19 inches. So I'll measure and cut it out in 2 places. Okay, so next I'll fold in about quarter to 1/2 inch and I'll start rolling it. Then I'll tack it. Okay, I'll continue like that till I get to the end. Just watch what I'm doing. Okay, so this is it. You can see I'll repeat the same thing for this one. Next is to wrap this with Asooke. So the measurement I'm using for Asooke is 22 inches, but if your thickness is bigger than this, then you should add some inches to your Asooke. So I'm using 22 inches for this thickness. So next I'll measure and mark 7 inches on the Asooke. Okay, then I'll place it like this. I'll slant it like this because I'll be wrapping it with this Asooke. You can see from here to here should be around 1 inch. Then I'll slant it to the 7 inch. Then I'll place it like this. I'll tack it with needle and thread just to keep it in place. Okay, then I'll continue wrapping it as tight as possible. can see what I'm doing. I'll hold here with pin. Okay, then I'll continue wrapping it as tight as possible. As I wrap, I'll hold with pin. Okay, when I get to the end, I'll hold with pin. Okay, next I'll be removing the pins from the edges here, and I will be securing them with needle and thread. So I'll be repeating the same thing for the remaining 3 edges. Okay, next I'll be trimming out the excess parts. Okay, so from the excess part I had earlier, I'll be measuring out 6 inches in 2 places. Already here is 3 inches, so I'll be measuring out 6 inches in 2 places, and I'll cut it out. Okay. I want here to be the front part, so I'll place it like this. And for this, I want here to be the front part, this side, so I'll place it here like this. You can see. Then I will overlap them a little bit. You can see. I'll first tap them with needle and thread so as to keep them in place. I'll repeat the same thing here. Okay. Next is to cover them with this. Okay, so I'll fold in about 1 inch. Then I'll place like this, and I'll wrap it round. This will be at the center here. Then I'll wrap it round tightly. Then I'll sew with my needle and thread. Okay, after that I'll pull it out. I'll fold in 1/2 inch and I'll take to my sewing machine and I'll sew. I'll repeat the same thing here. Okay, this is it after sewing with my sewing machine. So next I'll attaching it to the part with Velcro. So this is it. So then I will placing it like this, just where the Velcro ended. I will place it there. I'll hold with pin. The same thing here, just where the Velcro ended, you can see. I'll place it. Okay, this is it after sewing it, you can see. So next I'll close it like this. Then I'll stitch these two together from the back. So I'll just set it well. It should be on top of each other. Then I'll start stitching. You can see what I'm doing. Just a little bit of each of them. Okay, before that I forgot, you can remove all the pins. I'll continue like that till I get to the end. Okay, this is it after sewing them together. Next, any part that is gaping out, I'll just pull it to the back and tack it down. Okay, next is to sew this part to this part. Firstly, I will pin it down just to keep it in place. Then next, I'll start making my invisible stitch. Just watch what I'm doing. Okay. After that, you pull it. You can see it's not visible. I'll continue like that. Okay, so this is it. You can see the stitch is not visible, so I'll repeat the same thing for this side. Okay, this is it after sewing it. You can see. So next is to make the design at the back. For the design at the back, I'm using 20 inches in two places. You can see 20 inches in two places. Okay, so what I will do is I'll fold in 1 inch, just measure it out and fold in 1 inch. I'll repeat the same thing here. I'll fold in 1 inch. Okay, then I'll fold in half. Okay, then I'll take to my sewing machine and I'll sew, and sew. I'll repeat the same thing for the other one. Okay, this is it after top stitching them. You can see. So next is to form my plates on them. I'll be forming my plate in a diagonal form like this. So I'll fold in about 1 inch. and I'll start forming my plate. You can see. I'll stitch them together. I'll repeat the same thing for this one. Okay. I'll be stitching them. Okay, so next, from the leftover piece, I'll measure out 7 inches. I'll measure out 7 inches and cut it out. Okay, at the edges here, I'll fold in 1 inch. I'll fold in 1 inch here, and I'll fold in 1 inch here. So next, I'll fold in half an inch here, and half an inch here too. You can see. Then I'll fold in half. Then I'll take to my sewing machine and I'll sew. Okay, this is it after top stitching it. Okay, I'll wrap it tightly and I'll sew with my needle and thread. Okay, so this is it. So next, I'll be attaching this to this. I'll attach it here. Okay, so this is it. Our Asooke headband is ready. So this is the back view. This is the front view. Thanks for watching.